Alright, so I'm going to go over a little DCC installation here. This is my Wisconsin Southern MP15 DC that I was going to keep DC, but I decided I'm going to put Digitrax DCC in it. I've got a couple of little decoders here so I can make sure at least one of them works, and I've got an 8 to 9 pin conversion just in case. Most Athearn and Athearn Genesis are both or one or the other, but I'm not sure what's in here and I don't have the directions with me, so I'm going to kind of play it safe. As you can see, everything's a bit of a mess, but we're going to do this anyways, get it done. I already got the one out and upgraded the coupler to a long shank semi-scale coupler. The other one's going to get the same after I pull the screw out here. Finish backing it out. Halfway through I decided, oh hey, I'm going to make a video. So hopefully these are actually kind of helpful to somebody somewhere down the rainbow. I actually made a video building an AccuRail kit up, and I decided not to use it because it was such a colossal failure. And I had a couple of tricks to figure out before I started trying to show other people how to do the kits. But now I've got it put down pretty well pat, although I did forget one of the frame details in the last one I built, which I don't think anyone will notice, but it's one of those things that I'm going to see. So now that I've got this all goofed up, let's get this back together here. I'm betting this is going to be pretty darn close up just because of how close the camera is to everything. So we're just going to set this here with the screw in it, help keep everything together since we're taking the shell off. Alright, so now the shell should come off. If not, there might be another screw or two holding it together. So we're going to peel the foam back so this comes out a little bit easier. Slide this over and pull gently. You don't want to yank an Athearn shell off because those bulbs have wires attached to them, and it's real easy to accidentally yank these bulbs right out or yank those ones right out. And if you do that, you're going to instantly regret it because now you have to take that cab apart. This thing's fighting me a little bit. Sometimes the ends of these have to come out and around the frame. There we go. I gotta get this one yet. Over the coupler box there, which I think is the issue. Oh. I don't want to break anything because this is like mint condition. There we go. Okay. Set her down. When you're doing this, you want to be very careful and mindful of the details. Thankfully, the DCC installation is very easy and simple. It is quite literally taking one of these decoders, if I can even get it out of here. It's been sitting in the bag in my pocket, so I'm sure the shrink wrap on here has gotten a little sticky to the bag. So I'm taking this DH123, which is like your base model Digitrax decoder, 4 functions, front, forward, reverse, and lights. Very easy to program, very easy to work with. And you can see the wires here, 2 for each bulb. My hobby shop goes through and they'll pull these little caps off and put a dab of solder in there to help to secure the connections. It makes a world of difference. Because sometimes these wiggle loose or just get used up, and it's a pain in the ass. So I'm going to go through here and gently remove this dummy board, or dummy plug, and install the decoder. Let's make sure all everything's lined up right. Looks like it. Sometimes the shrink wrap can get in the way a little bit. There we go. It's in. So with that, we want to make sure we put on everything nice and easy so it looks as good as when we started. Tuck this under these wires so everything sits on top like it did before. I want to make sure nothing's getting pinched by the motor. Okay, that side. That side. Okay. And it looks like we're good. We'll find out here in a minute, but everything's down. If you look in, the coupler pockets are lining up. Sometimes you'll notice if Let me check. Yeah, that's lining up. That one's lining up. If you notice that there's not as much of a gap here, or if you notice that the metal frame is sticking below where it should be on here, you know you've got a couple wires cut underneath. There's going to be a little sponginess in the shell if you notice. That's natural. That's the bolt. That's the loom of wires underneath there. That's pushing it up with the extra decoder. That's in there now. So what we're going to do is, again, peel the foam down, set our locomotive in there, and let the foam rise. That way you're not crushing any handrails. Hopefully it shouldn't affect the details so much. And we're going to put this baby back together here. So in doing this, I try to be careful. I put the screw in with the pliers so that I don't accidentally drop it into the locomotive and then spend the rest of my life wondering what I'm doing with it. And then spend an hour searching for the screw and then trying this over and over again. So this is a long enough screw that thankfully I don't have to do that with. Some screws you get are really short and it's a real pain. With that as your basic DCC install in an Athearn engine, the biggest cautions again are going to be making sure you don't yank the frame off and break something. You don't want to break any details. And then the next biggest one for me is those wires for the lights. I've yanked them out of a couple engines. You can see they're still in there because they stick out. And they're a complete pain to replace. I did it in my Walker MP15, I believe, or it might have been one of my Wizards. And I had to send it back into Athearn. I had to bite the bullet and send it in because I could not get that thing apart. And they knew exactly what to do because, of course, they build it, they design it and everything. So they know exactly what's going on. And they were nice enough to warranty it for me. Those days might be gone. A lot of things have changed in the market as far as courtesy from the manufacturers, because they're not so much, I think, not so much doing it to be rude, but because it's harder and more expensive to make this stuff, and they're trying to just keep the bottom line and make the money where they're supposed to be making money. They're not in the business to do stuff for free. And yeah, we know we complain a lot about the prices of stuff, but at the end of the day, if it ain't worth it, don't buy it. So you can see the handrails came in a little bit. That's okay. It's going to happen one way or another. If we take it, just kind of pull on that a little bit. We don't want to break them or pull them out. If anything, we can stick some foam in there later if it really bothers us, or bothers me, I should say. And it'll push them back out again. I've got foam at the club I can use when I do this, run it later. But that's a basic DCC installation. If you want to replace the lights with LEDs, that's a whole other process that I probably won't get to. And then now, with the new couplers, we're going to check the NMRA height. There's really not much you can do with locomotives besides shimming the trucks, which I've never done, not sure that I want to. But I make sure I put in, when there's a pilot on here or a plow that sticks out, I try to put on the longer couplers, so that way I can keep the trip pins, because I may or may not be using magnets in the future. We'll see. I was planning on it and doing another Kato Unitrack layout, but I don't know if I'm going to do that now. So everything's always up in the air with me. But anyways, let's check to see. They're low. Well, it'd probably help if I got the truck on there all the way. Perfect. Look at that. Oh, that just made my day. Perfect. Okay, let's check the front. Boom. So what we're going to do is bend these up just a hair, because I noticed the pins were catching. I've got my little trip pin pliers right here. We're going to be very gentle, not to break any of the details on the locomotive. Just like that. Just a hair. We're not going crazy. There we go. Okay, all the little silver tips are still on there. I didn't get a whole lot because I didn't want to get too close to the pilot. So let's try it again. Perfect. It might be just striking the bottom, but it's not catching the tip anymore. I can't tell if it's just a coupler that's making it move over. I think it is. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, cool. So I'm happy with that. I'm not going to go over any of my other projects right now because that's going to be a big mess for a while. When you're doing stuff like this with DCC, it's a good idea to save the extra parts. Your hobby shop might be able to use it. You might be able to use it. Or if you get a good accumulation of it, you might be able to sell them on eBay. There might be someone who's converting their fleet back to DC or selling it online, and they want to take the coders back out. So they might need these boards again, or you might need these 9 to 8 pin conversion boards. You don't know. But it's always handy just to save them just in case. And these I'm going to keep in my toolbox here for future use. Put all my tools away here now that I'm done. Let's clean up. Pull my top out. That is now becoming a mess. Put that in there. Put the glue. Top can go back in there. You always want to make sure you clean up when you're done. It's one less thing for you to do later. That can be a pain in the ass, or get in the way, or you're just getting frustrated. It's always a nice touch. And since I have it here, we're going to unbox this dirty Wisconsin Southern caboose. I got this from a friend, Paul, at the Model Railroad Club I go to at Tri-County, and he moved out west to go work for the railroad, and there's a little trade deal going on, and it ended up falling through, but he said I could keep this. So thank you, Paul. I do appreciate it. Unfortunately, it doesn't get used too often because it's been, I don't want to say lost, but it's been in the abyss of stuff that I have that I recently found again for like the 5th time, but now I'm doing something with it. So it's just a little dirty, needs a little brush just to clean some of the dust off, which I'll do later. But I'm going to take it down to the club today, and I'll run it with this guy. So I'll probably have some pictures and videos up later on my Chicago, Milwaukee, Northwestern page. I don't know what's going to be up first because there's a little bit more in uploading the GoPro videos than there is in uploading these videos or my phone videos, but we'll see what happens. So until next time, take care.